Welcome to the world of AI ideas. Today, we are diving deep into a problem that, believe it or not, affects every single one of us. And we're going to explore how a brand new kind of AI is stepping in to solve a crisis you probably didn't even know was happening. You know that feeling, right? You find the perfect thing online, you click buy, you enter your details, and then, a day later, you get that dreaded email, "Sorry, your order has been canceled." What feels like a tiny personal frustration is actually a symptom of a massive, hidden crisis in the retail world. A crisis that's costing companies, and all of us really, trillions of dollars. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain. We'll look at why the systems powering our shopping are breaking down, how this problem looks different all over the world, and then we'll get into how a new type of AI is not just predicting the future of retail, but actively building it. Okay, let's dive right on. To really get why your online order gets canceled or why the shelf at the store is empty, we have to talk about a concept that is crippling the entire industry from the inside out. Now, this isn't debt like a credit card bill. Think of it more like a technical debt. It's what happens after years and years of using spreadsheets to manage a billion-dollar inventory, or having employees manually copy-paste sales data from one system to another. You end up with a dozen different software programs that just refuse to talk to each other. Every one of those little disconnects builds up, making the whole operation slower, way more expensive, and just bound to break. And this debt has trapped retailers in this crazy race they just can't win. It's called the Red Queen effect. Think about it. As shoppers, we want two totally opposite things. We want extreme value, the lowest price possible, but we also want extreme convenience, like get it to my door in an hour. Trying to do both of those things with old, broken systems means you have to run faster and faster and faster just to keep from falling behind. And look, this isn't just a theory. The data here is pretty shocking. A staggering 88% of retailers in the US admit that their basic day-to-day operations are a struggle. This isn't just a minor headache for them. It's a full-blown systemic breakdown, and it's happening across almost the entire industry. So how does this whole mess play out on a bigger scale? Well, this operational debt isn't just a US problem. It's like a global pandemic of inefficiency. But what's really fascinating is how it shows up in totally different ways depending on where you look. In the US, the biggest symptom is what experts call the reverse logistics crisis. In plain English, returns. In 2024, people returned almost 890 times $1 billion worth of stuff. The systems for handling this are so clunky that it can cost a company over $27 just to process a single return. It's gotten so bad that sometimes companies like Amazon will literally just tell you to keep the item and give you a refund. Okay, now let's hop across the pond to the UK. Here, the problem is what they call a deep integration gap. What this chart is telling us is that only about a quarter of retailers feel like their technology is actually ready for an AI-powered future. The huge majority are stuck with systems that are fragmented, manual, or just plain fragile. They're trying to use AI, but the underlying plumbing is broken, so it's just not working. And now, for the absolute extreme end of the spectrum, China. Here, the challenge isn't a lack of tech, it's the absolutely mind-boggling speed of the market. You have platforms like Meituan processing 150 million orders in a single day. At that kind of scale, you can't have a single human slowing things down. The entire operation has to be hyper-automated from start to finish just to function at all. So you've got retailers all over the world basically drowning in complexity. And out of that chaos, a fundamentally new kind of solution is starting to show up. It's a huge shift in what we even expect AI to do for a business. The big change here is going from passive AI to active AI. For years, AI in retail was all about prediction. It would look at the data and tell a human, hey, you're probably going to run out of this product next week. Which is useful, sure, but a person still has to go and do something about it. Agentic AI is totally different. It doesn't just predict the stockout, it autonomously solves it. It sees the problem, creates a purchase order, emails the supplier, and updates all the internal systems, all without anyone lifting a finger. It can reason, and then it can execute. Now, this new wave of agentic AI needs a powerful engine to run on, a kind of digital connective tissue that can link all of a company's different systems together. That's where some of these automation platforms come in. And if you look at this comparison, you can see why certain features are so important for retail. Being able to self-host, for instance, is a game changer for data privacy. A flat pricing model is essential when you're doing millions of things, because paying for tasks would just be insanely expensive. And maybe most importantly, you need a platform built to handle the kind of complex, multi-step thinking these new AI agents are doing. All right, so let's move away from the abstract ideas and look at some concrete solutions. How do these AI agents actually fix the real, super expensive problems that we've been talking about? Okay, let's take inventory. Instead of a person checking a report once a week, an AI agent is working 24/7. As you can see here, it's constantly pulling in sales data, stock levels, supplier lead times, everything. Then it uses AI to analyze all that and predict the chance of a stockout. If that probability hits a certain level, say 80%, it doesn't just send an alert, it takes action. It generates and emails the purchase order, it updates the inventory system, and then it pings the manager on Slack to say, hey, I saw a problem and I already fixed it. This flips the whole process from being reactive to proactive, and we're seeing it cut stockouts by up to 25%. Or let's go back to that $890 billion returns problem. Here, an AI agent acts like a super efficient returns manager. The second a customer submits a return request, the agent is on it. It instantly checks everything. Is it within the return window? Is it a final sale item? Does this customer have a sketchy history of returns? Based on those rules, it makes a decision in milliseconds. It can auto-approve the return, flag a weird one for a human to look at, or for a cheap item, issue one of those returnless refunds. A process that might take a person 20 minutes is done in seconds, cutting labor costs by an estimated 30%. Okay, let's zoom back out for a second, because when you start applying these kinds of automated fixes across an entire industry, the impact on the economy and on people's jobs, it's just absolutely massive. So when you add up all the costs of that operational debt, all the lost sales from empty shelves, the cost of handling returns, the waste from over-ordering, the mistakes from manual data entry, you get to this truly staggering number. The total cost of inefficiency in global retail is more than $2.5 trillion a year. That's not just a cost. It's a massive pool of value that is just sitting there, waiting to be recovered through smart automation. Of course, the moment you say automation, the immediate question is always about jobs. The common fear is that AI is here just to get rid of them. But what's happening in retail seems to be way more complicated than that. We call it the augmentation thesis. And yeah, for sure, routine, repetitive tasks like data entry or basic cashier work are disappearing. They're being automated. But at the exact same time, that automation is creating a need for totally new, higher skilled jobs. So the key here is that we're seeing a transformation, not an annihilation. I mean, somebody has to actually design and build these complex automation workflows, right? That's your new workflow architect. Somebody has to analyze all the new data that's being generated. That's the data analyst. And as AI handles all the boring, routine questions, human workers can focus on higher value work, like becoming a customer experience strategist. The real challenge isn't a lack of jobs, it's the urgent need to reskill the workforce for these new jobs of the future. And this brings us to our final, and maybe the most important takeaway from all of this. For any business in retail today, the entire game has fundamentally changed. It used to be that having great automation gave you an edge over the competition. Not anymore. Today, it is simply the price of admission. The industry is splitting right down the middle. On one side, you have the legacy companies being crushed under the weight of their own operational debt. And on the other, you have these new agentic retailers who are building their entire company on a foundation of intelligent, autonomous systems. There's not much room left in between. So ultimately, here's what it all comes down to. In the 21st century, winning in retail isn't just about what you sell or even how well you market it. It's going to be defined by your operational velocity, how efficiently your core systems run. The winners will be the ones who master the algorithmic optimization of how goods, data, and money flow through their entire business. The future of retail is being coded as we speak, and it is being built on a foundation of intelligent automation. To keep up with this and other big shifts, subscribe to the channel for more such insights.